Detroit. How you doing? Today, as the title suggests, we're going to talk a little bit about passing chords and secondary dominance. This is going to be a bit of an intermediate lesson, but we'll sprinkle in some things for my beautiful beginners out there. You probably recognize that song I was playing when I started the video, How Great Is Our God. And that's a good song to demonstrate the secondary dominant chords. So let's get into this. I was playing that song in the key of C, and I'm going to be demonstrating these concepts in that key, but now your job is to take it to other keys. I might sprinkle in some of that as well. So let's start with diatonic harmony and voicings of that you might pick. Hundreds of them, got whole videos on voicing chords, but we're going to not only name the chord, but we're going to number the chord. So here's a 1 chord. Lots of ways to play that. I think I was playing something like this. So that's a add 2 chord. So all that is a triad. Lose the third at that kind of chord. But again, you work on one thing at a time. So I'm going to assume you have some voicings under your belt for these chords. And to be consistent, I'm using very similar voicings that I put in other videos. So if these voicings are a little bit much for you, go through that either beginner series or that intermediate series, and you can work on your voicings, okay? So that's a 1 chord, right? A 2 chord. Here comes a 3 chord. E minor. In the key of C, that's a 3 chord. Here it is, beginner. I just threw in the 9 and the flat 7. See how I got from beginner to more advanced. It's really not that tough. Here's a beginner E minor chord. Here's an E minor 7 with the bass. Throw a 9th in, you end up with this. And these are my money chords. It's like a G chord over E. So I could have played it this way. And again, I know I'm repeating, but recognize these right hand patterns. We call them polychords. So we have a G over E, we're just playing it in second inversion. Here is the 4 chord, or this. That's an A minor over F. Go to the 3rd, and if it's major, make it minor. Your right hand minor. If it's minor, make your right hand major. I'm flashing through this because I've discussed this at some length in other videos. And here is my favorite G7 sharp 5 sharp 9. If I wanted to make that a little bit more beginner. Or here's a G add 2 chord. Lots of ways to voice this. The 6th chord is, here's my money. That's like a C major chord over A bass. This is, we haven't even gotten to the secondary chords yet, secondary dominance or passing chords yet. We're just getting our houses on the street. And here is a B minor 7 flat 5. And now we're back to 1. I hope you are working on your foundational skills and not just running the songs, because you want to be able to play that diatonic harmony in any key you want. now we have 1 through 7. We have a 1 chord, we have a 2 chord, 3 chord, 4, 5, 6, 7, and back to 1 again. I know I went through that kind of fast, but you work yourself up to you can play diatonic harmony in several keys. Now there is a progression that is a circle progression. I mentioned this in other videos as well. You're going to find that you can file songs. It's either 1, 4, 5 song, a scale song, or a circle song. So let's get the circle song. So the progression is 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 to the 4. Now we're going to go on circle again. 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. Now if you get that progression in several keys, you can play thousands and thousands of songs. Thousands and thousands of songs. Especially if you can play that progression in a bunch of different keys. So that's diatonic harmony kind of rearranged a little bit so that it matches the circle. So again, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. So get a piece of paper out and write that progression down and then figure it out in lots of different keys. We're just going to work in the key of C for simplicity's sake today. Now we're ready to talk about secondary dominants and passing chords. Because without the foundation, we don't have a destination. So here's probably the part you want to get out of this video. Any one of those chords, 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, can be a destination. 4 chord can be. 5 chord can be. 6 chord can be. And not so much the 7 chord, but I guess technically it could be. And now we're back to 1 again. Okay? So let's start with the primary dominant chord in a key is the 5 chord. It is this chord right here. 5 to 1. That's the primary dominant chord. What is a secondary dominant chord? Well, let's say if our destination is D minor. That's where we're going, right? That's the destination. We can approach that chord with its 5 chord. So I am playing, or maybe I'll play this. That's an A7, sharp 5, sharp 9. That's it. That is definitely not in the key of C. Why does it work? Because it's a passing chord that gets me to D minor. So let me just put a little beat on there, and let's do that chord. One more time. This is the way you practice too. Now you notice when I played this A7 chord, it just flashed. It just flashed. Its job is to create tension. Tension, release. So now we have a primary dominant chord. So let's say our destination is C. We're going to the 1 chord. Oh, sorry. So I use G7 to go to C. Sort of like walking down the street. You have to know where the houses are. That's what the diatonic harmony was about. So we have destinations. Now how do we get to those destinations? Now Now, rhythm is a very important concept here. Strong beats, weak beats, on the beat, off the beat, you know, 1 and 2 and 3. A lot of times, you use your own ear, but a lot of times these passing chords will find the cracks, they'll find the ands. 1, 2, 3, and 1. Let's say our destination was the 2 chord. 1, 2, 3, and 1. See how I'm filling cracks, I'm filling space. That's why they're called passing chords. They pass from one place to another place. So secondary dominants are a primary. There are lots of these passing chords, but we're not going to get into all of them. We're going to get into the ones I think that I hear or that I use all the time. And as I've said many times, this channel is for beginner, intermediate level pianists, which in my mind is good enough. I mean, we're not going to make a record anyway, so we just enjoy playing. So we've got 2 of them. We've got the 1 chord covered. So if we see that our destination is the 1 chord, then we can precede that with a dominant chord. Now, we won't call that one a secondary dominant because that is the primary dominant in that key. But if we see our destination is the 2 chord, oh, well, we can put it secondary dominant. Some kind of A7 chord. I just happened to be. I could have played this. That's an A7 sharp 5 flat 9. But don't worry about that too much because you could play something very simple. That's an A7 chord. Hopefully when you're working on your voicings, you'll find the ones you like. But the point here is some kind of A7 going to D minor. So, okay, so what if our destination is the 3 chord? Okay, 3 chord is E minor. What's the 5 of E minor? B is. Okay, so here we go. There we go. Every last one of these diatonic chords, except for the 7 chord, I wouldn't mess with that too much. Although technically you can do it there too, but I never hear that almost. What if my destination was the 4 chord F? So now I need some kind of I need a C7 chord. Let's do it this way. Point is, what is in F, in the key of F, what is F's 5 chord? Does that make sense? So now the other way to find it is to take your bass note F and find the 5th of that chord. There it is. And then play a dominant chord there. Gonna feel space. That C chord creates tension. That F chord is release. So the next chord is a G chord, which is a dominant chord already. So I could play some kind of D7, right? That one I hear a little bit less, but there is such a thing as parallel motion, which I'll get to in just a second. Let's complete these secondary dominants. Oftentimes my target is A minor, 6 chord. So I need some kind of. There's an E7 sharp 5 sharp 9. Tell I love that chord. That's probably one of my favorite. It's money. That's money. have a minor 7 flat 5 chord. That's B minor 7 flat 5. Chord is. Any inversion will work. So let's take that song I was playing in the beginning, How Great Is Our God. So the first chord is a 1 chord, right? This is a 1, 6, 4, 5 song. And that's a whole nother video that you want to classify songs like that. Store them in your brain that way. It's a 1, 6, 4, 5 song. How great. 4 chord. Now let's try that song with no passing chords at all, and let's put a little beat on it. And this is probably what I would teach to a beginner. So 1, how great, singing, That's the old, if you're older like me, that you'll recognize that progression, like Stand By When the Night Has Come and the wind is gone. Same progression. Now, when you learn progressions by numbers, you'll recognize that their progressions are like rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. They're used over and over again. So I tell people all the time, stop learning songs, learn progressions, and then recognize them in songs. So we just played that sort of vanilla, sort of beginner. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, don't mock beginners. All you beginners, God bless you. Keep working. You know, keep listening to this channel. This channel is for you, beginner, intermediate. All you flashy people. Only reason you're here is there's something in your foundation that you don't want to clean up. So we could start this song with a 5 chord. How great. Or so on that how, we could play a 5 chord. Now in gospel music, you'll hear that 1 to 4 bounce all the time, especially old school gospel. So I played I put a dominant chord there, and then I'm going to do the gospel bounce. So whatever chord you're playing, go up a 4th and bounce. That's just a little bonus. I didn't even plan to put that in this video. Whatever chord you're playing, go up a 4th and put that bounce in. And then we're going to the 6th chord. See how I slipped an E7 in there. So let's take the melody away. Say somebody is singing it. How great, great. There's that E7. How great, how great. Passing chord, destination. Now the next chord is a 4 chord. So you want to voice lead that here. Fine. Now that's a secondary dominant. That's a C7 chord. See how I secondary dominant? Or I played this before. However you want to voice it. Point is, you know your destination is F, and you know its 5 chord is C. So let's play it simple. Now we're going to G. I put a D7 chord there because D is the 5th of C. Now I'm already on G, so there's no sense of me sticking anything there. Bounce. Get the idea? Get the idea? So let's do that one more time. How great. Passing chord to the C. Pass to the 4. Pass to the 5. So that means you got a little work to do, because you got to get that in this key, and you got 11 more keys to go. But if you work on voicings, it will come. Now, my suggestion is, depends on what church you play in, or what jazz you play in, figure out what keys you use the most, and knock those out first. If you play a lot of jazz, you're going to do this in flat keys. Depends on the flavor of the church. Is there a Baptist church? Now, let me give you a couple bonuses. Beside these secondary dominants, there are 2 that's on my mind this morning. One is diminished chords, and the other is parallel motion. Let's do parallel motion first. So we got how great. Now we're going to a minor chord. We're going to A minor. So we can approach A minor from a parallel standpoint. Minors like other minors, so we can go. So I went G minor, A flat minor. That took me also to A minor. I could have gone the other way. Here's B minor. I did 3 of them. I could do 1. So how great. That's parallel motion, minor to minor. I could do 3 minors. How much time do I have? I can do 4 minors. Minor, 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 minor. Parallel motion works on majors, it works on minors, it works on dominant chords. Okay, so we got to A minor, right? Our next chord is an F chord. So I could play a parallel motion there. So I played G, I went up a half step, and I played G flat, and I dropped right down to F. So that's another fill chord or passing chord. It's another way to do passing chords. So you can always think parallel motion. And now when I do it, I keep the chords the same. The same meaning that if I'm going to major, I'm going to play a major. Like this. Now, The next chord is a G7 chord, some kind of G7 chord. But I can do parallel motion there. I can just, whatever I'm playing, I just go up a half step. Or down a half step. And I'm going to C, so I can go here. So that's another way to think of passing chords, is you can feel by way of parallel motion. So that's, you wouldn't want me to leave without telling you that. Now, one more, and that's my beautiful diminished chords. These chords here. So, a couple of ways you can use diminished chords, and that is, one, to substitute for dominant chords. And the way you think of that is, let's say if I'm playing a G7 chord. Here's my, it's a G7 sus. But if I don't have to play that, I can go in my right hand, play a diminished chord over G. See, my right hand is playing a A flat diminished. So you want to, whatever chord you want, go up a half step, right, and play a diminished chord. And that too will lead you right to one chord. Okay, so diminished chords also like to lead to minor chords. So we had how great is our God. Now our target, remember, passing chords work when you know where you're going, right? Just can't be wandering around lost. So I'm going to A minor. So I'm going to play a B flat diminished. You hear that in gospel all the time. So this B flat diminished, in other words, I went up. Now I went higher than the A minor. So here's my destination. So I went up here and played a diminished chord. But I also can go lower too. Right? I can go there and play a diminished chord. So minor chords can be approached from above or below. So here's above, and here's below. Whichever you like. Or one way one time, another way the other time. So let's do How Great Is Our God, How Great Is Our God. Bounce it. Parallel motion. Now here I got a diminished chord over G. Parallel motion. You can have a lot of fun, and you can add a lot of so compare that to vanilla. Here's how great. So let's do it with, let's throw some passing chord thing to you. So you can see how these sprinkling in these passing chords really can enhance the sound of your song that you're playing. Now it doesn't have to be this song, it could be any old song. Alright, one more concept and then we'll wrap this video up. Hopefully this was a good one for you. Now, I said that if you're going to A minor, that chord, that's your destination. You can approach it with its fifth. But the fifth has a 2 chord to it. So now you got a 2-5-1 thing going on. That's that circle progression I said 10-15 minutes ago. So now if I'm approaching A minor, I can go B minor 7 flat 5. There's my E7. Now I get to A minor. So let's try that on How Great Is Our God. So let's try with the Is Our God. So now instead of playing a 5-1 to A minor, I'm playing a 2-5-1 to A minor. Let me slow it down. Same chord I played earlier, so I just threw a 2 chord in front of that 5 chord, and I can do the next chord is an F. So last time I approached F with some kind of C7. Sometimes that's appropriate, that's all you need, but a lot of times you want some more. So now we're going to play a G minor. See how it works? So each one of these has a secondary dominant, but the secondary dominant has a 2 chord that can go in front of it. So now we're back to that circle progression that I was talking about earlier. And I understand that this is a lot to drink in. I got a fire hose out right now and I'm just pouring it out there. You back this video up, rewind it, hit the scroll bar, I guess rewind is an old school word, so that you get a piece of this. And then little by little by little by little, you'll start to incorporate it. First thing you want to do is really get your diatonic harmony down. So now you got destinations. This song that I was playing really didn't go to the 3 chord, but let's say my destination was the 3 chord, because 3 can substitute for 1. So let's say I want to get to the 3 chord. So I want an F minor 7. See how I arrived there by way of a 2-5-1. One of my favorite songs, another song that I could demonstrate this in is, let's play a little piece of I Love You Lord today. Let's do D flat, just so we can get out of the key of C just for a minute. So we're in, that's the 1 chord. That's a bounce. That's a 4/1. There's a 5 chord. Now we need to get to the 6 chord. You see how we got there by that's a 2-5-1 minor to the 6 chord. So we need a So if we went to the 5 chord, there's an F7 sharp 5. Oh, I love that chord. F7 sharp 5 sharp 9. That takes me to the 6 chord. Let's take that to the key of C. Bounce it to the 5 chord. Get to the 6 chord. This time it's an A minor. We're going to play. You see how we know our destinations, and we've got a couple of tools in our pocket that we can fill in cracks to get to our destination. That's what I have for you today. Hopefully you have fun practicing. Got any questions about this at all, stick them in the comment section, and we will talk to everybody real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.